So for the 43rd lesson of class, we're going to have a debate on the existence of God. Now, I fully acknowledge this is a very personal question, a very heavy-duty question, but this is philosophy class. These are the sorts of questions that we ask ourselves. And I want to remind you of the definition of metaphysics that we're using. Now, metaphysics is the branch of philosophy concerned with the study of the nature of being and beings, existence, time and space, and causality. Now, how God fits into this will alter how you see all of those things. It's a philosophical question that must be asked. Now, even if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice, to steal lyrics from the band Rush. But you must make a decision regarding this subject, and it ranges from monotheism, the belief in one God, polytheism, the belief in many gods, atheism, no belief in gods, agnosticism, where you're not quite sure, pantheism, like we learned about with the ancient Greeks and ancient Romans. They had a pantheon of gods. People have seen this question differently, and I'm going to pose this question to you. And there's going to be two sides of the debate, and these are going to be self-identified. I am not going to push anybody one way or the other. Even in the past, people have switched sides based upon their study. So the sides of the debate, on one side will be the theists, or the believers, if you will. And then on the other side, there are the atheists. And that's a very black and white way of looking at things. And, don't want to use the black-white logic fallacy. There are people who aren't quite sure. They don't want to identify. I have a job for you too. Now, the undecided or unsure, people who do not want to deem themselves theist or atheist, you will be the judges, and you are going to study the same stuff the theists and the atheists are going to study. And here's your criteria that you are going to look at. And you're going to look at the debate, were they organized? Was it clear? Were the viewpoints outlined clearly and orderly? The use of arguments that are based on reason? Are they using examples or in facts versus appeal to emotion and these other logic fallacies? The rebuttal, how well did the side do with their rebuttal? And then the presentation style, are they gesticulating? Are they projecting? Using good oratory skills? So again, to reiterate, the three sides will be theist, atheist, and the undecided or unsure will be the judges. That's our starting point. Now, the format of the debate will be this, and this is fairly arbitrary, but I think it works for our purposes. So the first 5 minutes, the affirmative team will present arguments in support of their position. Then the opposing team will present arguments opposing the resolution. And then the affirmative team will further present their arguments in support of the resolution, identify areas of conflict, answer questions that may have been raised by the opposition. And then the opposing team will present their further arguments against the resolution, identify further areas of conflict, and answer questions that may have been raised by the previous affirmative speaker. Then we're going to have a recess to prepare their rebuttals. Now, this is the part where I really enjoy listening to you. Can you take what has happened and use it against the other side? Now, 5 minutes, again, is arbitrary. If teams opt for more time, I'm certainly willing to alter the minutes. These minutes are arbitrarily chosen at 5. And then the opposing team will begin with the rebuttal, attempting to defend the opposing arguments and to defeat the supporting arguments without adding any new information. And then the first rebuttal of the affirmative team, and then each team gets a second rebuttal for closing, with the affirmative team having the last opportunity to speak. Now, this is imperative. This is important. There cannot be any interruptions. Speakers must wait their turn. Rules of decorum will be maintained by me, the moderator, who will be neutral throughout the debate. And I cannot emphasize these points enough. This is a formal debate, and we're not going to disintegrate into the logic fallacies and the foolish ways of talking that I'm sure you've all witnessed others doing. We're not going to do that. But I want to make it fair. So we're going to have 5 areas we're all going to investigate: theist, atheist, and undecided. We're going to be looking at these 5 areas because we can fall into the rabbit hole. You can spend a lifetime studying theology and whatnot. So the 5 areas will be argument from design, cosmological argument, ontological argument, the problem of evil, and faith and reason, how they relate. And argument from design, in a very quick nutshell, argues for the existence of God based upon an intelligent creator. The analogy is given that if you take a wristwatch random circumstances will not create a wristwatch. There needs to be a designer to create that wristwatch. And that's argument number one. And there's plenty of stuff online. I'm not going to get into too much detail here. But theist, support it. Atheist, don't support it. Tear it down. The second argument, the cosmological argument. Now, the cosmological argument, or the first cause argument, is a philosophical argument for the existence of God, which explains that everything has a cause, that there must have been a first cause, and that the first cause was itself uncaused. So, in a very simplified way, going back in time, okay, what happened here? What happened here? We trace things back. Eventually, we're going to get to 13.7 billion years ago with the Big Bang. What happened before that? It had to be God. And that's the argument in a nutshell. Now, the ontological argument is this notion that it is a conceptual truth that God is a being that which none greater can be imagined. Now, God exists as an idea in the mind. A being that exists as an idea in the mind and in reality is, other things being equal, greater than a thing that exists only as an idea in the mind. Thus, if God exists only as an idea in the mind, then we can imagine something that is greater than God. That is a greatest possible being that does exist. But we cannot imagine something that is greater than God, for it is a contradiction to suppose that we can imagine a being greater than the greatest possible being that can be imagined. Therefore, God exists. There's a lot of premises that bring us to our conclusion. And again, theist, support it. Atheist, don't support it. Find flaws in the thinking. Problem of evil, the fourth area we're all going to look at. And it's this question, why evil persists in the world if in fact God is all-powerful and all-knowing? Taking the quote from Epicurus, is God willing to prevent evil but not able? Then he's not omnipotent. If he is able but not willing, then he's malevolent. If he is both able and willing, then whence cometh evil? Is he neither able nor willing? Then why call him God? And this is the question we're all going to have to ask ourselves. If there is this all-powerful God, why does evil persist? And the fifth area we're all going to look is faith and reason. Can it be reconciled or not? Are these two separate areas or not? And again, there's plenty of information to research online, and I'll let you get to that. And to be fair, I'm personally of the belief to learn how to do things well, find people who are experts or who do it well, and copy that. So I'm going to provide five big names who are respected in their respective communities to research for each side. So for the theist side, I'm providing you the name of Dr. William Lane Craig, Ravi Zacharias, Dr. John Lennox, Lee Strobel, and Dr. Frank Turek. All of these five people debate this frequently and are theists. Now on the other side, for the atheist side, I'll give you Christopher Hitchens, Dr. Richard Dawkins, Dr. Sam Harris, Dr. Daniel Dennett, and Bertrand Russell, the philosopher. And these are atheists. Now, just because they're on one side, I'm of the belief you might want to look at the other side's argument. Again, once you know your argument, know your other side's argument and prepare yourself for what's going to be thrown at you. So here are the heavy hitters on both sides. Do with these names what you will in order to prepare yourself. And here are the ground rules, and I want to emphasize this again. We will be respectful of different viewpoints. It is my hope that even if we disagree with each other, and we will, that at the end we can be civil, we can still like each other, we can shake hands at the end. We will follow the decorum of debate. The entire class will be able to express their thoughts after it is over. Now, I'm very loosey-goosey with the time frame, and I've done this debate several times. Some debates have taken 3 days. Some have taken 6 days. It really depends on how deep you want to get into it and then how much time people want to express. And some of my favorite debates end with all of us in a circle and the various sides being able to express themselves. So, when the debate is going on, follow that decorum. You'll have your chance to talk, I promise. And then the final point, the moderator, me, will be neutral throughout the process and help both sides equally during the preparation portion. It is my hope that through this whole process, you don't know how I feel about the subject. That is my job, neutrality. I don't know why I spoke of myself in third person. That was unnecessary. But I will be as neutral and equal as I can, and I will do my best to do that. And when it's all said and done, whenever we finish, and I'm not quite sure how many days it will require, I really want you to dig into this journal entry. I want you to express yourself with your pen. And I want you to present philosophical arguments for and against the existence of God through your research, through the debate, through ones you already know. And that's the first part of this. Now, I want you to state your assertion on the question of God's existence and provide the rationale for your beliefs. And once you do that, I think you are establishing your metaphysical groundwork on how you see metaphysical issues. So this is one of my favorite activities of the class, and I'm sure it's going to be an interesting and educational experience for all of us. And thank you for watching.